Deep in the forests of Japan, in silent cemeteries and along lonely mountain roads, you will find them. Thousands of small stone figures, no taller than a child, wearing tiny red hats and red cloth bibs. And once you learn who they are for, you will never see them the same way again. At first they look almost sweet. Rounded faces, gentle smiles, little woolen caps someone knitted by hand. Tourists photograph them and think they are charming garden decorations. They are not decorations. They are messengers to the dead. These figures are called Jizo. And in Japan, Jizo is the guardian of one very specific, very heartbreaking group of souls. The children who died before they ever had a chance to live. To understand why, you have to understand a belief that has haunted Japan for centuries. A belief about where the smallest, youngest souls go when they die. Because according to the old teachings, they do not go to paradise. They are sent to a place called Sai no Kawara, the riverbank of the underworld. A gray, endless shore of stones at the edge of the afterlife, where the spirits of dead children are said to gather, alone. And there, the story says, they are given a terrible task. To earn their way toward paradise, each child must build towers of small stones, one by one, as a prayer for the parents they left behind. But they are never allowed to finish. Demons come in the night and kick the towers down, scattering the stones, so the children must begin again. Forever, building and rebuilding on a cold shore between worlds. And this is where Jizo comes in. Jizo is the one being who descends into that gray place. He hides the frightened children in the sleeves of his robe, shields them from the demons, and stands between them and the dark. That is why the statues wear red. Red is the color of protection in Japan, believed to drive away danger and illness. Grieving parents dress the stone Jizo the way they would have dressed their own child. The little hats, the bibs, the toys left at their feet, the pinwheels spinning in the wind. Each one was placed by someone who lost a baby. A gift, sent through stone, to a child on the other side. Walk into certain temples, and the sight will stop your breath. Hundreds of these figures, standing shoulder to shoulder, and above them countless colored pinwheels turning in the breeze, so the children have something to play with. In Japan, this practice has a name. Mizuko-kyu. It translates, chillingly, as a memorial for the water children. Mizuko, the water child, is the word for a life that ended before it truly began. Why water? Because in old belief, a soul that never lived a full life was thought to be unformed, fluid, like water, not yet solid enough to have entered the world, yet no longer part of it either. And so parents come. They buy a small statue, or they sponsor one already standing, and they visit it for years. They wash it. They bring sweets and toys. They speak to it as if the child could hear. If you have ever felt a chill walking past a shrine covered in tiny clothes, this is why. You were standing in a place built entirely for grief, surrounded by the memory of children who were never named. If these forgotten stories of Japan are pulling you in, take 1 second to subscribe. Every day we uncover another piece of Japan's hidden and haunting history, and you will not want to miss what comes next. The belief in Sai no Kawara is old, older than most of Japan's cities. For centuries, it gave grieving families a way to imagine their lost children as not truly gone, but waiting, watched over, somewhere just out of reach. And Jizo did not only guard children. Travelers prayed to him for safe passage, which is why you find his statues at crossroads, mountain passes, and the dangerous edges of old roads across the entire country. Sometimes you will see him in a row of 6. These are the Roku Jizo, one guardian for each of the 6 realms a soul can be reborn into, standing watch over every possible path the dead might take. Many of the oldest ones have no faces left at all. Centuries of rain and wind have smoothed the stone blank. Row after row of small, faceless figures in red, standing in the fog, still being cared for. But it is in the modern age that this custom took a darker, more complicated turn. Because in the 20th century, the memorial for the water children became something far more widespread and far more painful. As Japan modernized, the Mizuko-kyu ceremony grew into a booming practice, offered by temples to any parent carrying the weight of a lost pregnancy, whether through miscarriage or a choice they could not undo. Some temples filled entire hillsides with thousands upon thousands of identical statues, each one representing a single water child. Whole fields of stone, stretching up the slopes, each figure a life that was mourned in silence. And critics warned it could prey on grief and guilt. Yet for countless people, standing before that small stone and finally speaking to the child they lost was the only comfort they had ever been allowed. Because in Japan, this kind of loss was rarely spoken about out loud. There was no funeral, no grave with a name. The statue became the only place where the grief could finally, quietly exist. In winter, people knit fresh red caps and drape them over the frozen figures, so the children will not be cold. In summer, they leave water and candy. The care never stops, sometimes across whole generations. And that is the part that lingers. Not the demons on the gray shore, not the endless towers of stone, but the fact that in Japan, an entire quiet ritual exists to keep loving a child who was never held. So the next time you see a photograph of Japan, a serene temple, a misty forest path, and notice those small red figures standing in rows, look closer. Every single one of them is someone's child. They are not garden ornaments. They are not folklore for tourists. They are a nation's way of reaching across the riverbank of the dead to tell the smallest souls that they were wanted and that they are not alone. Thousands of tiny guardians in red, scattered across an entire country, standing in the fog, waiting, watching over the water children on a shore we cannot see. That is the quiet, haunting truth hiding in plain sight all over Japan.